Phyletic evolution, also known as anagenesis, the accumulation of changes associated with the transformation of one species into another. Cladogenesis, also known as branching evolution, the building of one or more new species from a parent species that continues to exist.
Branching evolution occurs as a lineage splits into two or more species. Adaptive radiation is the diversification of a group of organisms into forms filling different ecological niches. Allopatric speciation is a physical barrier arising between populations of a species which stops gene flow. Sympatric speciation occurs if a genetic or behavioral change produces a reproductive barrier between both mutants and parent populations.
Prezygotic. Anything that prevents mating and fertilization. Mechanical isolation. This evolutionary mechanism is when different species are isolated by their mechanics or genitalia. Habitat isolation. Two species that live in the same area but different habitats. They encounter each other rarely. Temporal isolation is an evolutionary mechanism that keeps individuals of different species from interbreeding, even if they live in the same environment. Gametic isolation. Population of organisms that has little genetic mixing with other organisms within the same species. Behavioral isolation. An important evolutionary mechanism that helps members of the same species identify each other as proper mates.
Postzygotic. Postzygotic isolation prevents the formation of fertile offspring. The hybrid zygote will not develop into a fertile or viable adult.
Reduced hybrid viability. Genes of different parent species may interact and impair the hybrid's development. An example is an underdeveloped salamander. Reduced hybrid fertility. Hybrid fails to produce functional gametes. An example is the mule cannot backbreed with other species.
Hybrid breakdown is a type of reproductive failure that appears after the F2 generation of crosses between different species or subspecies. An autopolyploid is an individual or strain whose chromosome complement consists of more than two complete copies of the genome of a single ancestral species. An allopolyploid is an individual or strain whose chromosomes are composed of more than two genomes, each of which has been derived more or less complete but possibly modified from one of two or more species. Polyploidy is the state of a cell or organism having more than two paired homologous sets of chromosomes.
Morphological species concept emphasizes measurable anatomical differences between species. Most species recognized by taxonomists have been designated as separate species based on morphological criteria. Cohesion species concept emphasizes cohesion of phenotypes on the basis of species integrity, with each species defined by its integrated complex of genes and set of adoption. Biological species concept emphasizes reproductive isolation, the potential of members of a species to interbreed with each other but not with members of other species. Ecological species concept emphasizes species' role, their positions and functions in the environment. Recognition species concept emphasizes mating adaptations that become fixed in a population as individuals recognize certain characteristics of suitable mates.